sé que me extrañas cada día. Si perdió el amor, lo siento, fue mala mía. Si fuera un cuento de fantasía, te llevaría a un paraíso y te besaría, pero look at me wide in darkness.
Hello and welcome yet again to another episode here at the Cardboardcave podcast. And today we are going to be covering Tarkir Dragonstorm spoilers. Today I am sadly alone due to a lot of content that we recorded these past few days, but spoiler season started on the 18th of this month, and I'm super excited because I love dragons. I said that on the previous podcast, and as well, if you guys all know, previous months we've been getting a little tease of what's going to happen in Tarkir Dragonstorm. We have great cards, and as well, amazing special guest cards with great treatments. So let's go ahead and move forward to these cards. But before anything, remember, Cardboard Cave Podcast is brought to you by Titan Games. So pay attention to their social media, and then you guys can know when is the new upcoming pre-release event near you in one of two of their locations. So let's go ahead and move forward with spoilers. Starting off with the special guest cards that we've got all of the fetch lands. We have Verdant Catacombs, Scalding Tarn, Misty Rainforest, and they are all very well made by Adam Paquette. Adam Paquette, if you guys know, he has been drawing with Magic the Gathering for a long time. So we have all of these new fetch lands with the taste of Tarkir Dragonstorm, and not only that, there is a new foiling with these cards. The new foiling is called like dragon scale foil. So if you will notice that, I think that there's already a couple of videos going around in Magic the Gathering's social media where you will see like scales, like dragon scales around the card in the foiling, and they look phenomenal. Sadly, if I'm not mistaken, special guest cards will only be available in the collector booster, if I'm not mistaken, or they will be available, but not the dragon scale version, only normal version and the foil version. If I am wrong, tell me in the comments below. And the other special guest cards is the ultimatum cards that, if you guys remember, these ultimatums were from Ikoria. So we got all of the ultimatums available as special guests as well. My favorite one is Eerie, and I think that the other one was Ruinous Ultimatum. Those were my favorite two like ultimatums out of all. And I'm super excited because besides the fact we're getting fetch lands, so what does that mean for all of us? That means that there is a high chance that we will be getting a lower cost fetch lands in the future. So that doesn't mean that's going to be that the lands are going to tank really quick, but that means that there is a high chance that if these are in high demand due to the foiling or the artist, that means that all of the previous one will yet again be in a more affordable price. If you guys remember when Modern Horizon 2 came out, Modern Horizon 2, all of the lands, all of these fetch lands dipped very crazily and amazingly, and they were very affordable even in their foil form. So this means that we might get these lands once again in a great price. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward with the cards that were presented to us since March 18. Just give me 1 second like that I can go ahead and look for the first cards. So, they started on March 17th. My bad. Okay, let's go ahead and move to the stage. Poof. There we go. And what we're going to be doing, I did this so wrong, but we'll we'll leave it to that. Oh God. Okay, we fixed the issue. Okay, so we have a couple of cards here. I'm gonna go ahead and read you the cards. So we have United Battlefront is 3 and white sorcery that says the following. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 2 non-creature, non-land, permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Oh, and again, these are cards that are going to be available in the actual set. These are not cards from the commanders. We're going to cover them as well. Very great card, United Battlefront. There might be playing standard, but it's a very might. It costs 4 mana. I don't know, depending on how the set moves forward in regards to the other previews that we get, there might be a chance that this card can be played in the standard format. Next card, that this card for me, I think is 100% for Commander. Draco Genesis is 6 red enchantment that says you may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost. So, technically speaking, this is what's the omniscient omniscience, but for dragons, and this is amazing. Imagine that you can play. Obviously, it does not make sense to play omniscience and then have this like that you can cast, because omniscience lets you cast anything for free, right? But still, having a card in your commander that lets you cast your dragons for free is great. Especially the fact that dragon commanders normally um normally you have to cast your cards like they, to have your dragons go bada beam bada boom. But I still think that this card is going to be great in any commander deck with dragons, because hey, who wouldn't love to cast dragons for free, right? Now, our next card is Anafenza, Unyielding Lineage. Two colorless, one white legendary creature spirit warrior, um, that has flash, has first strike, and it says the following: whenever another non-token creature you control dies, Anafenza endures 2, and she's a 2/2. What is endure? Endure is a new mechanic that they presented in Tarkir Dragonstorm that says the following: put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, or create a 2/2 white spirit creature token. So the more endure your creature has, the bigger the spirit token can be. But in this case, you can either get counters or get a spirit. So this is really fun in all cases, because again, you can choose either one. The whole fact that Anafenza has flash and first strike, that's great, because she can become a body to block a creature that you need, and as well has first strike. So if this creature is same attack or has less toughness, you can go ahead and eliminate your opponent's creature within the blocking section. So it's a great card for the standard meta. In the bunch is Elsbeth Storm Slayer. We have our first planeswalker from the set presented, and Elsbeth is 3 colorless and 2 white. Legendary planeswalker Elsbeth. 5 loyalty, 3 loyalty abilities, and it has a static ability that says if one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. Great static ability. That means that we have another card to create tokens that is in the white color. What does this mean? This means that white is getting a little bit much more buff for, let it be standard or let it be commander or any other format. In this case, Elspeth looks for fun in standard due to the fact that it has a cost of 5. So this means that it will be late game, but still it should be fun. Her first ability is create a 1/1 white creature, white soldier creature token. That means that you will be creating twice. So that means that you will be creating 2. And then 0, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain flying until your next turn. And -3, destroy target creature and opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. So it's not a board wipe, but it puts counters on your creatures. You can create creatures, and being the fact that your creatures are not only your tokens, you will create one, you will create 2 tokens every time, and as well, it's removal for creatures mana value 3 or greater. So it's a great card in and all, and you can actually use her as removal starting the game when you cast her. That's one of the great things I would say of Elsbeth, the Storm Slayer. Okay, and as always, we're gonna keep moving forward. So now this is a different type of like card. We do have not card, my bad. We have full art showcase, and I don't know how these are called, but these look gorgeous. These type of like artsy style with the colors of their clan. Wow, amazing. Being the fact that you have these cards look this beautiful, they look great. And as well, if you guys notice, Elsbeth showcase has like a showcase. This is the one that has like the Pokemon foiling, I would say, and this has the normal like full art showcase, but not full art. And then we have one creature that we didn't get to talk about is Voice of Victory. For 1 mana and 1 white, you get the following ability and creature. You have a creature human bard 1/3 that has mobilize 2, another new mechanic, and says the following: your opponent can cast spells during your turn. But what is mobilize? Whenever this creature attacks, create 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature tokens. Sacrifice them at the beginning of your next end step. So, why is this mobilize ability fun? Because if you have Elsbeth, you will be creating not 2, you'll be creating 4 creatures attacking, even though they do go bye bye at your end step. But hey, it's 4 additional damage. Think about it. Okay, so we have the version of United Battlefront, the card that we spoke firstly, in this showcasey, I would call them clan border. The clan border. Yes. We have Elsbeth in their beautiful different styles. We have one of the promo cards that you will be receiving in the promo pack in your local game store at your FNM. Hey, you know where to go. You guys know where to go. Are you looking for the #1 local game store here in Puerto Rico? I got it for you. It's called Titan Games. They are located in Caguas and in Rio Piedras. As well, they have their own website, titanhobbygames.com. There you guys can find your favorite TCGs and much more in their website. That's not all. Just pass by every week. There's an event and there's a lot of things you can do with Titan Games. All of their information are in the description below, so pass by and check them out. All of their information is down below. Okay, so it's Static Snare. So for 4 mana and 1 white, enchantment has flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature. When this enchantment enters exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until this enchantment leaves. It's not a bad removal card because again, the fact that you have mobilize, when Voice of Victory attacks, it mobilizes 2, so you have 3 creatures, so it'll cost 2 mana. But let's say that you're attacking with 1 more creature, so that means that this has become a Path to Exile Source to Plowshare for 1 mana. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Our next rare creature here is Marigan River Regent for 6 mana, 4 mana, 4 colorless, and 2 blue creature dragon that has the whole adventure mechanic, but in this case it's called Omen, and we will explain Omen in a second. So has an second ability called Coil and Catch for 3 and blue, instant Omen, draw 3 cards, then discard a card, then shuffle this card into its owner's library. Then you have the creature form that has flying. When this creature enters the battlefield, return up to 2 other target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. And it's a 6/7. Not bad. Not bad at all. We do have another new mechanic here that's called Harmonize. And we're going to explain it with this one. Is Urin's rebuff is 1 in blue. Sorcery says return target creature to its owner's hand. Harmonize. You pay 6 mana, 5 and 1 blue. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its harmonized cost. You may tap a creature you control to reduce the cost by X, where X it is power. Then exile this spell. What does that mean? That means that if you go ahead and tap, let's say for instance, in this case, let's use a big creature. If you tap Galta, Primal Hunger, Galta will reduce its cost by 13. Well, Galta is a 12/12, or yeah, it's 12/12. So it will reduce the colorless cost for 12 mana. So that means that you will cast this for 1 mana. And that's great. But again, it's a good fun mechanic because in future, and this is me talking in standard, this would be great. Not kidding at all. Okay, our next rare creature is Taigam, Master Opportunist. Is 1 and blue. Legendary creature, human monk. Has an ability and it's a 2/2. So it has Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it. Then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. This is a ridiculous card. So powerful. Then we have the showcase versions of like certain cards of the set. Then we have this clan border of Taigam. There we go with the full art of the Maranga River Regent. Another of the promo cards that you will be receiving in your promo pack is Rolling Dragonstorm. Is 1 in blue. When this enchantment enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. When a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. Broken. I'm not saying broken like, but the fact that you can cast any dragon, return it, draw 2 more cards, and discard a card. Yeah, totally worth it. Okay, next 2 rare cards here is Quarcy Revenant. Is 1 and 2 black creature vampire. It's a 3/3 flying death touch left lifelink, and it has an ability called Renew. So for 2 mana and black, exile this card from your graveyard. Put a flying counter, a death touch counter, and a lifelink counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. What does this mean? This is great because this means that you can reuse your cards and give them counters as well and different abilities. And that's super interesting for the standard meta because we do have another card here that has Renew. I did see it. Here you go. So Agent of Codis, 1 and 1 blue, has Renew for 4 mana. Exile this card from your graveyard and put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. So each Renew card has a different ability or it provides a different assist to your creatures. And that's great. So next card, Sidisi. I prefer this artwork than this one. This one looks kind of odd. So Sidisi Regent of the Mire for 1 and black. Legendary creature, zombie snake, warlock. You tap. Sacrifice a creature you control with mana value X other than Sidisi. Return target creature card with mana value X +1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. So technically speaking, we have a type of like birthing pod situation, but instead of looking for something in your deck, you're looking for something in your graveyard. Being the fact this a DC is a 2-drop, this is great. Why is it great? Because this means that you will be playing with your graveyard very constantly. Sadly, is only activate only as a sorcery. That's okay because that means that you cannot abuse it in other formats. Probably in other formats you can, but in this case, in standard, discard is fine because probably there will be certain decks that will run with the graveyard 100%. Now we have another promo card is called Strategic Betrayal for 1 mana and black sorcery. Target opponent exiles a card they control and their graveyard. So you get 2 things for 1 card. This is an amazing card. I think that this is a card that we have to be paying attention to. It might be that uncommon that is widely used in the format. Why do I say this? Because in the standard format, remember, not all builds that play black will be the same. So probably you will have the CDC build that loves the graveyard, and then you have another type of build that is a much more control aggro version that might use this card to maybe control these CDC players. It could be in main board or it can be in sideboard. This is a very versatile card that might have a lot, but a lot of gain in the standard format. So we have Quarcy Revenant in their borderless form. Have a couple of new cards. We have a Matador Sunset Strike Master in red. That's super cool. Our next card is Channeled Dragonfire. So it is Shock with another name, but has Harmonized. This is what I was saying. The fact that there is a type of Shock with Harmonize, that is important. Why do I say this? This is giving so much power to mono red players, and not only mono red players, because remember we have mono red goblins as well, thanks to foundations. But being the fact that you have a way to cast a shock, or in this case, channeled dragonfire with harmonize, this can be a finisher in a very hard moment. So just imagine the fact that you have all your lands untapped, you attack, your opponent's down to 2, and you have no way for to survive the next turn. And you remember that you have this for how much? For 7 mana? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Now, this card we all remember and love for you all amazing commander players. Crater Hoof Behemoth is in standard. So for 5 mana and 3 green, that's a total of 8. You have a creature beast with haste that when it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control, and it's a 5/5. Bonkers. The way of the behemoth in standard. Yes, I love it. Okay. We have Undergrowth Leopard. I wanted to talk about this card because, again, it's a 2-drop, 1 and green creature cat with vigilance, and it has a way to destroy artifacts and enchantments for 1 mana. But obviously, you have to sacrifice the creature, but it's a 2/2, so it's a great 2-drop in any deck. So we have the Crater Hoof Behemoth in its tribal showcase. Yeah, tribal showcase. And then you have it in its other forms as well. This one looks beautiful. It is the same artwork, but like I said, this has like the Pokemon treatment. You know, the border is shiny as well. Okay. And the next card that we're going to be talking about is Encroaching Dragonstorm, a 4-drop enchantment, 3 and green enchantment that says the following. When this enchantment enters, search your library for up to 2 basic lands cards, put them onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle. And then when you play a dragon, put it back into your hand. Not bad. Now we're going to some of the multicolor or clan cards, right? And we're going with the spirit dragons as well. So Beedor, kin to all, 2 white, black, green, legendary creature spirit dragon, flying, says the following. At the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have a total toughness of 10 or greater, draw a card. Then, if creatures you control have a total toughness 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. This is at the beginning of your end step. Then, if your creatures you control have a total toughness of 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life rounded up. So, this card is easy. You're going to build a walls commander, and this will be your commander. I completely agree. Okay, next card is Mardu and 2 enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and have death touch. When this enchantment enters the battlefield, if it's your main phase, there is an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. When your next attack this turn untap each creature you control. This card is crazy. The fact that for 5 mana, you have, technically speaking, a Lord, and all of your creatures get Death Touch. And as well, you get another combat if you play it on your main phase. That is crazy. That's uber, uber crazy. Now, next enchantment, Fort Frost, my bad. Frost Cliff Siege. We have Siege, even though we already talked about them. So for 1 blue red enchantment, as this enchantment enters the battlefield, you choose between Teamer or Jeskai, right? If you choose Jeskai, whenever one or more of your creatures deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. If you choose Teamer, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample and haste. So you can either give them trample haste, or you can use it to give um to draw cards. Good thing is that these are not legendary, so that means that you can play another one and choose one and then the other. Next card is Codis, the Fang Keeper. So for 1 mana, black, green, blue, legendary creature, zombie, warrior, indestructible, 2/1. Whenever Codis deals damage to a player, exile the X cards of their library, where X is the amount of damage dealt. You may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. So sadly, it says when Codis deals combat damage to a player. So it's it's an okay card, I will say. It's okay, not the greatest. Probably there is value in other ways, but it's an okay card. I just gotta say, I don't know. Next, Spirit Dragon is Neriv, Heart of the Storm, for 1 in Mardu, so red, white, black. Legendary creature Spirit Dragon with flying, and it's a 4/5. If a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that much damage instead. It's a great card. It's a great card. Why do I say it? Because again, it's a 4-drop that can do more damage. Probably there is a way that you can, do more damage on the ETB, but it's great for mono red. Not mono red, but if you do a Mardu type of like hasty ETB, yeah, I agree. Next card is Rediscover the Way. So for Jeskai, blue, red, white, you get an enchantment saga with 3 chapters. The first 2 chapters is look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. On the final chapter, whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. So that means if you start casting like a lot of things, all of your creatures might get um, double strike. Next card is Timor, Crier. Battle Crier. So for Timor, green, blue, red, you get a creature orc ranger 4/3 that says during your turn, spell you cast costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Nope. It's not that bad. I completely agree. It's not that bad. Okay, so let's go ahead and go with the next spirit dragon. We have Tival, Arbiter of Virtue. So for 2 mana, black, green, blue, legendary creature spirit dragon, flying lifelink, 6/6. It has the following effect: spells you cast have delve. Pretty. Amazing. Sexy. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its man value. Whoa. The thing is, this is you. Like, it's whenever you cast a spell. Wow. Ouch. Okay, next card is Ureni, the Song Unending. For 5 colorless mana and green, blue, red, You have a legendary creature Spirit Dragon, 10/10, flying protection from white and from black. When Urani enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and/or planeswalkers your opponent controls, where X is the number of lands you control. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes complete sense. I like these showcase versions of them. I like these showcase versions of them. Yeah, sorry, I was reading Beedor once again. So I love the showcase of these cards. They look pretty. Again, my favorite is the oh man, how do you call the tribal showcase cards? Uh, I love these more because I don't know why, but they look so beautiful. Hey, are you looking for premium playtest cards? I have you covered. Tolarianlibrary.com. Just pass by their website, check out all of the playtest cards that you might need for your commander deck, and use code CBCMTG to get 20% off your order. If you're looking for cards that you probably don't have a budget for, it's fine. Tolarian Library might have it and you can get it for your future commander. And obviously, some of these like full arts as well, I would get them only for the art. No lie. No lie. I would get them just because of the art. And seeing these sieges as well tells me so much that they have like a Game of Thrones theme going around. And I effing love it. Love it. So we have here a couple more of the cards that we have already spoken of in their other forms. Here we go, 10 more Battle Crier. Wait. Oh, bundle. Okay. I was like, wait, where this came from? So it's from the bundle. Okay. So we have our life gain lands. We do have a artifact creature dragon. Not the first time. We've had these type of like dragons before. And as well, we have monuments. But this time when this artifact is battlefield, okay, you can look for a okay. And it has a okay. So yeah. So these monuments are okay, not the best, but sure, it's fun to have them. But here is where things get nice. So we have two types of basic lands in this set. We have the Presence of the Dragon basics, and then we have the Eye of the Dragons. So sadly, the eyes can only be acquired in the collector booster boxes. It won't be available in your normal play booster. These you will be able to get them. These you will be able to get them in your play booster, the Presence Dragon Full Arts. So, but if you guys have been buying these sets, these previous standard sets, the lands are getting full art lands and everything have been pretty hard to get them. You know, their pull rate is not the best. Okay. Okay, we have our first rare land. So it's Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. It provides you colorless. It provides you a 1 mana of any color. Spend this only to cast dragon spells or an omen spell. Omen spells are like the ones that we saw at the start. And as well, we have an ability that you can pay 4 mana, tap, sacrifice land, and search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle. Couple more of like the monuments, Mardu, Sultai, whoops. Technical difficulties. I'm using another browser, so I'm getting used to it. So we got Temur, and then we have another Planeswalker. We have Ugin. Ugin is back to terrorize your dreams. So it's Ugin, Eye of the Storm, legendary planeswalker, cost 7 mana. And it says the following: has a static ability, 7 loyalty, and 3 loyalty abilities. So when you cast this spell, exile up to one target permanent that's one color or more. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to one target permanent that's one or more colors. So again, sadly, this is an effect that will affect you as well if there's no targets. So in this case, it's okay. So first loyalty ability is that you will gain 3 life and draw a card. And it's a +2. 0 is 3 colorless mana, and -11 is search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle. Until end of turn, you may cast these cards without paying their mana cost. Amazing, amazing card. I love it. And as well, its other versions. I obviously love this version, not the Pokemon version. This version, I love it to a heart. I need this version. Looks phenomenal. Then we have more of the basic lands with the dragon eyes and as well the dragon presence. Couple of the gain life lands. And here, these are all the cards from the 18th of March. So nextly, we have Bloomvine Regent. So 3 and 2 green. Creature Dragon 4/5 has flying. Whenever this creature or another dragon you control enters, you gain 3 life, or you can cast its other ability or the spell ability form that's claim territory for 2 and green. Sorcery Omen that says search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them, and put one of them onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand. So technically speaking, is cultivate, but it goes to your deck once again, being the fact that it's an omen. Couple of more other cards, and yeah, we have a couple of like mana dorks, but you have to pay 1 mana to get either of the colors. Huh. Interesting. Moving forward to the cards that were presented, I think this was the 19th. Yes. So we have Draco Genesis in its other form. This is one of the cards that everybody has been talking about. That is the Sibsig Ceremony for 3 black, legendary enchantment. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Whenever a creature you control enters, if you cast it, destroy that creature, then create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. So this is a type of card that you might use. I think it's amazing, but the sad part is that you have to sacrifice your creature. So technically speaking, this enchantment is 100% graveyard love, I would say. Then we have our next card that is Dragonback Assault. So for 3 green, blue, red enchantment, when it enters, it deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. It has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. So if you have Elsbeth in your commander as well, yeah, create a couple. Next card is Zurak, Elusive Hunter for 2 and green. Legendary creature human warrior has the following. It's a 4/3. This spell can be countered, trample. Whenever a creature you control or a creature spell you control becomes the target of a spell or ability and opponent controls, draw a card. Great, great card. I'm not going to lie. For a 3-drop, 4/3, heck yeah. Okay. Moving forward, Awaken the Honored Dead. So for black, green, blue, we have an enchantment saga that has 3 chapters. First chapter, destroy target non-land permanent. Chapter 2, mill 3 cards. Chapter 3, you may discard a card. When you do, return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Again, playing with your graveyard, that's one of the forms that you will notice in those colors. Next card is Eshki Dragonclaw. So for 1 green, blue, red, legendary creature human warrior, 4/4. Vigilance Trample Ward 1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you cast both a creature and a non creature spell this turn, draw a card and put 2 counters on Eshki Dragonclaw. So you have to, at the beginning of combat, if you had casted a creature and a non creature. Okay, so if you cast, technically speaking, if you cast her and you play Shock, there you go. Draw a card and 2 counters. I think that that's how it works. Tell me if I'm wrong. Next card is Magmatic Hellkite. 2 and 2 red. Creature dragon. When this creature enters, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. Its controller searches their library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tap with a sun counter on it. Then shuffle. It's a 4/5. It's a creature dragon with flying, and it's not legendary. Tasty. Okay. Next up is Winter Night Story. So for 2 and 1 blue, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 unless you discard a creature card and has Harmonize for 5 mana. Not bad, not bad. It's cool. Mystic Monastery. So we do have the tap lands of each. I imagine that there's going to be one for each clan. So that's great for their colors. You guys know what I mean? Okay. Next card is Severance Priest. So for white, black, green, creature Digin, cleric, has death touch. It's a 3/3 and says the following. When this creature enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, exile that card. When this creature leaves the battlefield, the exile card's owner creates an XX white spirit creature token where X is its mana value of the exiled card. Okay, so there is a sad catch. So your opponent might get a big creature at the end of the day. The final cards that were presented yesterday were very, very interesting. And I say yesterday, I know this is going live on a Friday, but being the fact that we're recording this on Thursday, so the cards that were presented yesterday were really interesting. The fact that we're going to be getting a couple of rare lands in this set is super cool. So we're getting a cycle of lands that do require like a certain land type, like that they can work, but being the fact that we at least us here in the Cardboard Cave, we did think that the fetch lands would go on this set, but they didn't. But they are on the special guest at least, is really interesting. Being the fact that the fetch lands did get a reprint in, I think it was in one of the 2 sets, Cons of Tarkir, if I'm not mistaken. So it is interesting to see them. I think that we did get them on. No, we only got them on Cons. Correct. So we did get a cycle of the fetch lands on Cons. So this is something that is really interesting to see these cards at least. So let's go ahead and cover each one of them. The first one is Dalkoven Encampment. So these are all lands. But it says here, this land enters tap unless you control a swamp or a mountain. It provides you white, but for 3 mana, 2 and 1 white. You can tap. Whenever you attack this turn, create 2/1/1 red warrior creature tokens that are tap and attacking. Sacrifice them at the beginning of your next end step. Great card. The blue version, that's Mistrise Village. You tap 1 blue and tap the land. Your next spell can't be countered. Great Rushing City. For 1 and black, exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a 1/1 spirit token. Quarry Mountain Monastery. For 4 mana, 3 and 1 red, exile the top card of your library until end of your next turn. You may play that card. And then Kishal's Village. So you pay 4 mana again, 3 and 1, and you can tap and surveil 2. They're not that bad. I think that the blue one is the strongest out of them all. Obviously, Dalkovin encampment is interesting because it does help you out a lot. And being the fact that it's a land, just imagine that with 8 lands, you can tap 2 of these and you get 4 creatures attacking, 4 1/1s. So it's a plus, right? Yeah, 8 lands, correct. Okay, these are some of the cards that were presented to us today on the day that we're recording. So we have Parination. So it's 3 white, black, green sorcery. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a hexproof counter and an indestructible counter on it. Great card. Great card. It's pretty expensive, but it's a great card. Our next one is this one that is in another language, but the future way. So for 2 blue, red, white, instant. The next time a source of your choice would deal you damage, prevent that damage. When that damage is prevented this way, the future's way deals that much damage to that source's controller, and you draw that many cards. This is face deflecting palm. It's deflecting palm with a little bit much more of like you can draw cards, and that's great. Okay, here are the next ones. This is my favorite one of the bunch. They have a couple of creatures that we did present them on our TikTok. So one of them is Zorgo Thunder's a Decree. He is Mardu, so red, white, black. Legendary creature Orc Warrior, has Mobilize 2. It's a 2/4, but it has the following effect. During your end step, warrior tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. I love Zurgo. Zurgo was one of my first like standard decks that I built. I always lost. There were some times that I did win, but Zurgo, loved it. Zurgo in cons, he was I think it was a 7-3 or 7-4, or I don't remember. But on your turn, Zurgo was indestructible, and when he attacked, I think he had another effect, but whoever blocked him, any creature that blocks him would be destroyed that turn. So an amazing card, I gotta say. But I really do love Zurgo. I think that this version of Zurgo is going to make a difference. Okay, sorry for the silence. Just trying to make sure that I am okay. Okay, so yeah, so it is fun to see Zurgo back, and as well being the fact that Zurgo was like my first standard, I loved it. I really did love it. I really did love it. So anything, guys. I think I'm gonna leave the spoilers. I did mention that I was gonna cover the commanders, but I think I'm gonna cover the commanders with the guys, because again, this would be a great topic for us and the guys to talk about. So I will leave this for the guys. We will cover all of the other spoilers that we get during next week. So nothing, guys. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to follow us in all of our social media as Cardboardcave Podcast. Like that, you guys can go ahead and be up to date with anything and everything cardboard related. Nothing, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and we will go ahead and see you all in the next one.
Rope until I cut it, bala pa tu cabeza, para delicadeza, habla la realeza, salva naturaleza, method for your mentalities, kill them with no fatalities, happy with all the cannabis, welcome to your reality.